Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor and smash that subscribe button. You won't believe how much it helps one subscribe by the next. So please help us do that. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget to leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Let's get right into it. Let's get into the loss against Calgary, and then we're going to jump out of it as fast as we can. Use one word to describe the Bomber loss to Calgary. I'm going to say deflating. It really looked like the Bombers were about to turn a corner, not to turn the corner, but turn a corner, especially in the first quarter. They didn't allow a first down. Calgary started with how many 2-and-outs in a row? 3 maybe, or something like that. The Bombers were up 17-0. And then they went for 3rd and 1. And Strevler didn't get it. They came short, and it seemed like momentum switched very quickly to the Stampeders. And it just watching the Bombers slowly get stomped into the ground, it was painful. So deflating. I'm not going to add another word. Deflating.
Yeah, mine's almost the same. It's disheartening, and it goes with the same, like you were saying. It started encouraging. The offense was rolling. Doing way better than they had done against Calgary. The defense was playing well, and then that play, and then things, spiraled from there. And then, of course, the second half happened. And it was the problem with me here is Bombers just continue to make the same mistakes. This is a veteran team from years before, right? They prided themselves on not taking stupid penalties. They prided themselves on not making mistakes and all that. And this year, it just keeps snowballing. And once one thing happens, the next thing happens. And that's what happened in this game again. And that second half was, I was going to say another word, disappointing. But yeah, that's the way it went. And it's unfortunate because they could have stolen this game or taken this game and probably had a brighter outlook for the rest of the season, especially with the injuries that have crept up now this week too. So to me, the Bombers just got to figure that out, and they got to play a full 60-minute game here.
This team, you look at last year's team and the way they started, and, there's always reason to have optimism so far with the Mike O'Shea / Zach Calero's team. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of Mike O'Shea, he had quite the response after the game. Not quite the response. He had a very Michael O'Shea type of response to the game. No panics, no worry. He saw a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. He was able to see some optimism there, as opposed to Dinwiddie's response, where he was a little miffed. He was a little more upset. He was a little more fired up. He kind of called out players' efforts and people who might want to be there and not. So as a fan, at this point in the season, which response do you prefer to see?
I want to see Dinwiddie's, and I know O'Shea is very calm and collective in front of the media, never showing that other side that could possibly be happening behind closed doors. I mean, we don't know if he's like that even behind closed doors, but I want to see a little bit of that fire, and I want to see that. To me, okay, O'Shea's regular seasons obviously have been way better than Dinwiddie's over the last few years, but at the end of the day, Dinwiddie has 2 Grey Cups. In the last 3 years. Yeah, O'Shea got 2 a few years ago, but Dinwiddie's had the number of the Bombers over the last few seasons. I want to see a bit of that fire, and I want to see it kind of in front of the media and in front of us. Just that I know he cares. There's no question he cares. I just want to see a little bit of that fire. Like, you look at some of Dinwiddie's quotes, and it's just like, we got pretenders in the building. They talk a big game, and they don't show up on game day. We don't have enough dogs. I get it. The Bombers don't have enough dogs either. That defense is suspect, especially on the back end. But I want to see a little bit of that fire in front of the cameras one time.
For me, I like the O'Shea response. I think the Bombers are on the brink of either realizing they're really bad, or they're on the brink of there possibly being a competitive team. And I think O'Shea's calm right now, especially with a lot of folks attacking the offensive coordinator, a lot of folks attacking and questioning the roster and offseason moves and sitting on the hands. I think O'Shea is the calm that's needed in the Storm right now. He needs to keep that team focused on doing their jobs and not adding to the heat that's really bringing, because there's more expectations right now with the Bombers. Like the heat from the media and the fans, I'm sure is hotter than you get in Toronto. So maybe Dinwiddie has a little more room to get away with it. But yeah, I think there's enough also veterans in the Bomber locker room that they can take care of that, calling people out in the locker room and having that possible. I'm just guessing here. I don't know. I'm not in the
You're not in there?
I don't know, but I'm guessing.
You're not hiding in the back corner?
No, I'm guessing that's gross. I'm just guessing that with the leaders in the dressing room there, that they have that where Mike O'Shea, Coach O'Shea can kind of keep that facade strong, consistent on the outside, to keep that message consistent. So I like O'Shea's response right now. I think there may be a point where the season is on the brink of disaster to be like, yo, pick it up. But I think right now O'Shea's calm, cool is what the Bombers need.
You talk about this veteran leadership, and they might be doing stuff behind closed doors, right? Well, obviously, we don't know, like you said. But where is it? Where, like, the execution to me is just the same stuff over and over here. And I know they started 2-6 last year, ended up in the Grey Cup, but you got a tough schedule coming up here. Yeah. You still have to play Montreal twice, Hamilton twice, Saskatchewan 3 times, right? I mean, those
Montreal
are
with
the toughest teams right now. Yeah, Montreal's down to their third stringer, so I mean, you get a bit of an advantage coming into next week when they play them, right?
Caleb Evans doesn't look bad sometimes when he's in there.
Well, yeah, he's looked well, he's played well, but to me, it's just like, where is this execution? You can't be taking these penalties, these pass interference penalties. Even the kickoff at the end of the game where Castillo kicks it into the end zone. Why are we doing that? Yeah. You know, like, was he instructed? Like, I don't see Castillo barely ever kicking that ball into the end zone. Why is that happening on that play where you're now giving them the ball at the 40-yard line when all they need is a field goal?
Absolutely.
You know, so it's stuff like that. And you talk about Hogan, man, I don't know about this offense. And we tweeted or texted a bit during the game. And yes, Caleros is hanging on to this ball sometimes too long. You know, but where's this game plan? Where's this offensive game plan? It's not crisp. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions here. And yet, I want to see a bit of fire coming from his coach, and I know he does it. You know, I have a lot of faith in the guy. He's won over 100 games with the Bombers, you know, but just want to see something, you know, something.
Yeah, there's a little too much success for me to question that, though.
No, exactly.
I'd be like, ooh, that's out of character. It was just like last Grey Cup when Zach Caleros showed that fire. I'm like, what is this? It'd be very uncharacteristic, and it actually make me panic that he's starting to panic. And that, you know, with a roster like this that's still trying to find their identity, maybe that I don't think that actually would be a good thing. Any type of panic right now.
I guess that, yeah. I mean, I can agree on that. You don't expect it or see it from Michael Shea. Maybe if he does do it, then you kind of thinking he's losing the room at that point, right? Where if he's coming out in public. And it's like, I can't get through to these guys inside the locker room. I got to do it out in public. So, yeah, I can see it that way as well.
Imagine if Bill Belichick panicked one weekend. Rome is burning. Let's focus.
I would love to have seen that guy behind closed doors. Actually.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, those are the videos I want to see, kind of thing. Not those press conferences where he's like, we're on to Cincinnati. You know, like, I want to see the shit behind closed doors where he's losing his mind on these guys.
I loved his press conferences. I loved it. Let's focus on the good things about the Bombers. Name 2 things you like or love about the 2025 Bombers. Let's go back and forth on this. You go first.
You know, and he's the kicker, but I love Sergio Castillo this year, man. It's like, even trotting out for that 63-yarder, I'm like, what are we doing here? You know, like, and I have faith in the guy, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a 63-yarder. He's been clutch so far this year. Again, I don't know what happened on that last kickoff, but he's been clutch, and you know, he's been their best player and their most consistent player, really on this team this year. And I hate that it's the kicker, but hey, man, I have full faith, and I love the way he's playing this year.
I think, you know, the last kickoff, Sergio Castillo's been in the league long enough where he should know, he should let off on that, put a little air under it, let that thing land between the 30 and the 20 and see what happens rather than trying to boot it. Because I'm sure Calgary had a conversation and they're like, if that sails anywhere within the 10-yard line, you let that thing sail. And I don't know if the Bombers had that conversation. Maybe they didn't have that conversation.
Yeah, again, and that's one of those things where, hey, boot it deep like that if you're up 2 at the time, right? Get that 3-point lead. It doesn't help you with a 1-point lead.
I'm going to say Willie Jefferson is a bright spot for me. He's having just a record break, talking about record breaking seasons with Castillo. Willie Jefferson's another one who's having a record breaking season, having another just dominant season on the defensive line. So Willie Jefferson is one thing that I'm really liking about the 2025 Bombers. I'm just going to spread that actually to the defense. I like how they're fighting through adversity, even through last game. Like, I'm not sold in the secondary. They looked a little weak. They were getting picked on by Vernon Adams. But how many points did they let in the second half? They kept the Bombers in the game. No TDs in the second half. We know this is a bend but not break defense. Yes, they make a little more mistakes, but they're still trying to find their identity. And we still know that there's holes in the secondary, but at least they're fighting. So I really like the fight in that defense, and they're keeping the Bombers in the game. It's not their fault.
It's not, but that last drive, what were you thinking? Were you thinking the Bombers were going to make a stop, or were you just like, we're losing?
Yeah, they gave him a short field. They did not need many first downs.
No, but then even the play over top, I can't remember who was in coverage on that
position.
Play. But
don't put the defense in that position. That's horrible.
But hey,
especially in a defense that hasn't been performing.
Yeah, but you got to make a stop. You have to finally make a freaking stop when it counts. You know, I get it. You only need 20 yards basically there at that point for Paradis to fucking kick a field goal.
They leaned on that defense all second half. How long do those guys have to be on the field for? You know, preventing Calgary from scoring touchdowns. Like, goodness gracious. I know you have to do your job, but how many times are they going to do their job by just stopping Calgary from scoring a touchdown?
Bill Belichick, do your job, man.
Calgary had great field position the whole time. Like, Bombers could not move the ball. They flipped the field, and the defense kept them in there. Like, offense. I know I'm going back to the last game, and we're done with that last game. What is your other thing that you like?
Can I just say one more thing on that last game? Your only points besides that stupid single at the end were a 63-yard field goal in the second half. 63-yard field goal. That's as close as you got in the second half.
That's right.
Like, that's unreal. I don't know. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest.
What's the other thing that you like?
You know, and if you included, was the defense your second one, or was that your first one? Okay.
I segued from Jefferson to the defense.
I'm going to stick that to special teams then. You know, I started with Castillo, but, you know, Trey Vival has been a bright spot, you know, especially that Peyton Logan was supposed to be the guy. Unfortunately, he's been hurt. Coverage team, everything. Jamison Sheehan, you know, we shit on that guy a lot last year in his punting, but that has been a better bright spot this year than last year. So the whole special teams to me is probably the better unit right now out of the three. Whereas last year it was iffy. The coverage teams weren't very good. Castillo was good, you know, but our punt returns, kick returns, we had no threat back there going through. I don't know. How many guys did we go through last year? 3, 4? You know? So, yeah, so the special teams, I'll give them credit as well. And I like the way they've been playing.
Speaking of special teams, what are your thoughts on the release of Mike Benson?
Ooh, that one caught me off guard. You know, it's hard to know with a snapper, right? I mean, obviously Ian LaRue has done well, I guess. Oh, yeah. Because there hasn't been mistakes, right? There hasn't been, oh crap, look at that snap or anything like that. But it's interesting because the guy just signed an extension this year, gets hurt. He's been with the team for 4 years. And I was in a Paul Friesen article in the Sun I was reading, he was 48 hours away from a guaranteed contract for the rest of the year. So that to me kind of stung a bit, you know, because he's a veteran guy and he's been around in the league long enough. So after that certain point, their contracts are guaranteed no matter what. Yeah. So to me, and we always talk about loyalty in the Bombers, and this is one of their moments where they did not show loyalty, and they moved on. And, you know, if Ian LaRue's the future guy here, I'm okay with the move. But if you just cut the guy because of guaranteed salary, you know, you're not spending that money anyways. We saw the Bombers this year. They're penny pinching kind of thing this year. So it's interesting to me that you would cut this guy, hometown guy, and all that stuff. So bit of a shocker, but as long as you have faith in Ian LaRue being the guy, I'm okay with it.
I have my foot dipped in both sides there. Ian LaRue is good. He's fine. Did they draft him last year and then he went back to university? I think so. Something like that. He's good to go, but yeah, the timing of it, I don't think it was planned, but I think it was just convenient maybe for the purse strings. Loyalty. Used sometimes, ignored in others. Let's move on to the Bomber blueprint. They got Ottawa.
Sorry. The thing is that if you got, it's obviously 48 hours before the next game kind of thing that he needs to be cut to not pay him. Why not cut him earlier in the week? Why wait till that almost at that deadline?
I don't know, man.
Like, that's the thing for me with the Bombers. Yeah, so yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Let's move on to the Bomber Blueprint. Bomber fans, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it does us a huge favor to help us grow the channel. Thanks so much for your support. Bombers taking on Ottawa, trying to prevent them from going on a 3-game winning streak. Both teams playing on an unnecessarily short week on Thursday. These Thursday games are stupid. What are your thoughts? Offense, man, Ottawa has 10 sacks this season. Second lowest tally in the league. If this
Who's the lowest?
Huh?
Who's the lowest?
Edmonton.
No, I thought maybe
they have
the Bombers
5.
were the lowest.
Oh, we're down there. But Edmonton has 5 sacks this year. Oh, gosh. The offensive
terrible.
lines need, maybe I'm wrong on that. You might want to double check on that stat. It sounds so horrible that it might not be true. But this offensive line needs to find their way in the passing game. That's not to say that Jason Hogan is not responsible for maybe finding some underneath crossing routes last game, but to give Zach Collaros some relief. But that Winnipeg O-line needs to keep Collaros considerably clean. And if they don't, that means there's some considerable work that needs to be done on this O-line. This is what do you call this? The litmus test for the O-line moving forward. Like beyond not having Vanderpool, they really have to prove that they can bully Ottawa's defensive line. And second down will be crucial. Like, the Bombers are horrible at converting on second downs. So, that's what I got to say for the offense. They have to convert on second down. They can't ignore Oliveira in the second half like they did last game. Because that allows the Calgary or whatever team to pin back their ears and go after Collaros if there's no threat of the offense, if you're giving up on your primary offensive weapon. So, yeah.
Yeah, Calgary had 4 sacks last game, right? And at least 3 of them were in the second half. Yeah. When they started pinning their ears back and going after Collaros, and the O-line was not protecting Collaros. And yes, sometimes Collaros had time, but we don't obviously have great video of this. We don't know if receivers were open or if Collaros just didn't trust what was happening out there.
We talk about these second downs. 3 out of 6 drives in the second half were 2 and outs. Yeah. 5 out of 6 drives were punts. Second down, they got to convert. Jeez.
So what happened there? Oliver had 9 catches, 100 yards, right? And maybe he wasn't the guy on those passes, but they found them. Where were those in the second half? Did Calgary take those away? And then there was nothing else. What happened to Wheatfall in this offense after those first 2 weeks of this season?
Yeah,
and maybe because Dalton Schoen was out there, Wheatfall wasn't getting the attention that he is now. But man, you got to get this guy back involved in this offense as well. Yeah. We know it. Run the ball. Oliveira's got to be the guy, but Collaros has to have. This game is going to be a shootout. That's how I feel. Anyways, I feel like it's going to be. Drew Brown just coming off a 5-touchdown game, over 300 yards. And we're not going to get into this.
Don't even say that name. Don't even say that name in Bomber Nation because we know that's the debate, bro.
We could bring that up easily, So Zach Collaros needs to have a good game. He didn't throw any interceptions last game. But that dud in the second half leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I got a question for you, though. Okay, if this offense falters again this week, is it time to move off Hogan and let Jarius Jackson call the plays?
No.
This is a critical game, right? Because this is your crossover almost.
Yeah.
You lose this, and you're down. Now Ottawa's tied with you in wins, right, at 4. You need to get more wins in Ottawa. You can't just tie them, right? So to me, this is a critical game. You can go up 2 games on Ottawa here.
Yeah.
Right? And if you do that and the offense doesn't falter, I don't have faith in this offense going the rest of the season because you're going to just play a better defense next week in Montreal.
I think there's still too many question marks about the execution and the ability of the players that he has and the offensive line. Like, they looked horrible. They looked horrible at some points, and some points is it Collaros not letting go of the ball and going deep? Because there are some points where he had 6 steamboats and he still didn't let go of the ball. So I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I
Just with
can't leave
racism.
without saying bully ball. Like
Yes.
the lack of it is boggles my mind. And I'm not just saying about running the game. We're talking about what happened to the offense that used Ellie as a tight end and then threw to him on one play. What happened to that creativity? Where is it?
I think it's a rookie coach going back and saying, "Hey, I don't trust myself in these situations." And is Zach not trusting him? I know Oliveira's coming out in support of Hogan, but is Zach again not trusting? We talked about this in the Great Cup. Was he audibling out of plays?
Yep.
So did he not trust Buck? Is he now not trusting Hogan either? Is Zach the problem here? Like that's a question, and it's to look at. So
Well, in the games that Strevler played, they didn't seem to audible a lot out of a lot of running plays. They sure committed more to that running game.
the guy's actually won 2 games. I mean, he didn't play good in the second one, but
No, they got special teams and defense on that one. But that's the thing. That's the thing with this team. If you can do that, defense will keep you in it. And then Strevler and that offense found a way eventually. Like, obviously, Vavel returning to touchdowns yet last week would have been great, but that didn't happen.
If you can do that every week, we're in good shape. Hold on. So going back to the O-line,
yes.
Reading an article on 3Down Nation, and they put their all-star offensive line, their 5 best. Liam Dobson and Jamarcus Hardrick are on this, all-star offensive line. So there's 2 guys you've lost over the last 2 years that are making this. Eric Lofton's been hurt for the Bombers, so it's Randolph at right tackle. Brian's been in and out. So to me, again, you let 2 guys go, and I know Jamarcus Hardrick got paid, so maybe that was a bit tougher, but the Bombers focused on keeping Lawler shown the offensive stars that year, right? But again, we'll go back to Dobson. That one hurts watching that guy, the way he's played, and the way Bo Levi's had time behind that O-line, kind of thing. So,
Well, look at successful Bomber teams of the past. You keep your prime Canadian O-lineman forever. Chris Walby, David Black, Von Cognate, what's his name? Lyle Bauer. You keep them until the end and you pay them. Letting go of Liam, I get it. Hardrick has to go. That's how you can't afford Bryant and Hardrick, but you gotta keep an interior lineman like Dobson.
Yeah,
it's still killing me to this day. We haven't even gone to defense yet. O-line, come on, man. I don't think Hogan needs it. People online saying Hogan needs to be fired. You need to chill the F out. He is learning. Yes, he looks horrible. He's learning, and he doesn't have help. It's not like he has a 2019 team going from La Police to Buck Pierce, 2021, I guess. Like, he doesn't have that convenience. He's lost a lot of good pieces. So stop with this firing Hogan right now. I don't think that's fair.
He's lost a lot of pieces, but the choice to go with a rookie OC may need to be questioned, right?
That's not on him again.
That part's not on him. No, not at all.
You gotta hold on to him.
Yeah.
And hope that Jarius Jackson also consult and help with that running game, because he was very successful in Edmonton with their running game when he was calling the shots.
Yeah.
Are we on to defense yet?
Not yet, but let's go.
Wow. What are your thoughts on defense? That was crazy.
Like
offense was a little troublesome last week, wasn't it?
Drew Brown looked awesome last week, right? So, and we've seen this Bomber offense get steamrolled a little bit, right? Caused some turnovers. Where are the turnovers?
Yeah.
No forced fumbles, really. You haven't had 4 or 5 interceptions, I think, and nothing lately. This defense has to get into Drew Brown's face, and Willie Jefferson needs to cause havoc, and then the guys in the back end need to make some plays. We need some more turnovers. We need guys to step up, get some pressures, make a stop. Really, when you need it, and no more explosive plays. Yeah. Make Ottawa earn it. You got Eugene Lewis coming in and some other very good wide receivers here for Ottawa.
Gino LeGrand.
This is gonna be a tough game. I'm not gonna pin this one necessarily. Like, obviously, I want the defense to play well, but I need the Bomber offense to actually be better and win a shootout in this game. But yeah, the Devs they got to make a stop, because Drew Brown and the Ottawa offense is going to score.
Yeah. Like, if I go off their performances in the past couple weeks and such, if they can keep them to touchdowns, I'll be happy. Like, they got to keep it simple for that secondary. I don't know if they can go to man coverage a lot against Drew Brown. Drew Brown is undoubtedly the best quarterback in the CFL when plays break down. This guy keeps plays going with his feet inside the pocket or outside the pocket, and his receivers, it's schoolyard football with Drew Brown once that play breaks down, and he's very good at converting those. So I'm cool if the Bombers just want to rush 3, drop those linebackers, keep those corners and DBs in a zone coverage, and not stick to man where guys can run all over the place and get rid of the guys who are covering them. Like, keep it simple for that secondary. Play a simple secondary. Let Drew Brown slowly find those reads and keep him in the pocket. I'm very happy with that because they can't let that guy start improvising like Doug Flutie did back in the day or Damon Allen.
Yeah, and you got Trey Vavall starting this game, rookie back there. So that's, I mean, we'll talk about special teams right away. So that's going to affect his possible return game. And then you got Dexter Lawson, who looked okay against Calgary, who's now going to start his second game of the season. Yep. You know, so you got your 2 outside guys are going to be picked on, right? Absolutely. They're not going to go after Evan Holm or Dietrich Nichols, but they're going to go after those outside guys and test them early and see what they can do.
See, so if they let the linebackers kind of patrol the middle in the zone, that'll allow Evan Holm and Dietrich Nichols to kind of peek an eye out in the corners, give them a little help, and hopefully Rhett Cramdy, who I think is playing very good at safety. I think a few years ago I wanted to see him at safety. Shoot, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Still giving up big plays, though.
Yeah,
isn't he supposed to be the guy? Yeah.
There's one safety on a CFL field. This is not a small NFL field with 2 safeties. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I'm not blaming him. But that safety, man, I don't know, pseudo Brandon Alexander at this point.
Oh, he's great at laying those, man. Special teams? Yeah. Or defense. Your turn for defense?
No, we just talked about defense. Where you been?
We're all over the place because I got all hyped up about last game and all
getting heated.
You go ahead with special teams before I get heated again.
Yeah, Ottawa. We talked about special teams in their coverage team. Ottawa's got a couple good guys back there in Pimpleton and Adebayo.
Last game.
Not even sure if I'm saying that right. Yeah, 72-yard return last game against Toronto. So they got no Deadman back there. He's hurt, but these 2 guys can cause some havoc and cause some pain. So it's a test for this coverage team to see if they can contain these guys. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. And hopefully Vavall, again, he's going to do double duty. So that might be an interesting take. It doesn't look like Peyton Logan's back again this game. So it's going to be Vavall back there, and hopefully he can manage both those.
That return game has to excel, especially if the offense is playing the way that they are, because the field position in the second half was a joke. It was so heavy against the Bombers. That field, as they say, tilted against the Bombers. So if they can't be decent on the punt coverage, and actually try and flip the field with a punt return, we might be in trouble, like serious trouble. Special teams, I think, was a bigger factor in last week's loss than a lot of people are talking about.
Then plus you have the penalty, which was borderline block. A back penalty that
the guy was stumbling and he went in the guy's path and then he pushed him out of the way and then he gets called on that. Give me a break, man. Was the guy supposed to stop running down? Don't see you get me started again.
Back to last game.
Special teams.
We just talked about special teams. Did
you say your piece?
Yeah.
You went first. Wow, what a game. Let's move on to some CFL talk. Bomber fans and CFL fans, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button. Leave a like on those. Leave a comment on those. Thanks for your support. Luke,
question for you before we move on.
Yeah.
Who's winning this game?
Man, I've been so biased this year. It kind of sucks, but I have to go Bombers at home. Like, they just lost against Calgary, a team that they've been struggling against all year. They just lost against them. They had it. So I think they can handle Ottawa at home.
Ottawa is 2-0 against Calgary. Bombers are 0-3 against Calgary.
Rain game, PJ Walker. Come on now. Rain game, PJ Walker. I know they were both playing in the rain, but that kind of torrential rain, it just takes away pretty much all talent.
No, it equalizes the field, basically.
That's what I meant to say. It equalizes.
It equalizes. Like, even the Grey Cup, right? When it's cold weather out, again, you can have a team that dominated the whole season. Once that weather comes in and affects the game, it makes teams even,
Yeah,
right? It takes things away.
yeah.
So
It makes
yeah,
things
no,
interesting.
I laugh at that. It is funny. I'm going with the Bombers as well because they're at home. Very critical game in the season. We'll see if these veteran guys, the veteran leadership of Michael Shea and how he's handled the losses this season, if that comes through for this team. But again, this offense, I'm pinning this on this offense. It needs to show up.
Bomber fans, leave your comments on that one. Jason Hogan, man, this guy's on the fire. Let's go to some
Yeah.
CFL talk. Luke Wilson says he's not tweeting CFL. Thoughts on that? To me, it feels like it's kind of a hiatus. Like he was just spouting a couple weeks ago or a week ago that he's gotten like 6 million eyes on his tweets. So I don't see how it makes sense to totally stop, especially when he's being paid to cover the game by a network, by the network covering the league. So I think he'll be back. I think he just maybe got abused after the great action of this past weekend.
Was that what is it? Like I was trying to look and see what exactly his reason. I saw the tweet where he says, "I'm done tweeting about the CFL," but was there a big reason for him not tweeting about the CFL anymore?
That's what we're talking about right now. I don't know.
Okay, so the thing is to me, if you want to tweet about the CFL and tweet mostly negative things about the CFL, which I don't mind. There's
Yeah.
obviously things wrong with the CFL, but if you're going to do that, you're going to get negative feedback back. You got to be able to handle that, and you got to be able to go back and forth.
Yeah.
And it is too bad. I don't agree with everything he says, and obviously a lot of people don't. Some people do, but you have to have that back and forth, and it is good for the league to have this guy talking about the CFL, whether he is talking good things or bad things. Right? You got Milt Stegall, you got David Sanchez. Also, they just started a podcast, I believe, too. That will help the league, but those guys are more. They will point out bad things about the CFL, but they will point it out in a good way, right? Whereas Luke Wilson will go, "Oh, that sucks." Milt will have a bit of reason and all that stuff. So I think you need this guy. And if he is working for TSN, he should be tweeting about the CFL,
Why not?
right? You can't have him working there and not tweeting about the CFL and saying, "Hey, I'm done. I'll just do my sideline stuff." So yeah, not good for the league. Not that it's not good for the league. That's not the right words for it. But you want eyes
It
in the
doesn't
league. And if
benefit
this
the
guy's
league.
bringing it, it's good.
Luke Wilson, controversial.
Quite the season for him.
I know, exciting. Who are you taking as a CFL midpoint, MOP, Canadian, and defensive players of the year? Let's go one category at a time. Who do you got for MOP?
Mr. Bo Levi Mitchell. Dude's on pace for over 5,700 yards, 42 TDs, but only 6 interceptions. Only 3 interceptions so far this year, which is crazy. I know there's a lot of guys having good seasons so far, but it usually goes to a quarterback, and that kind of season is pretty good. So I'm going with Bo.
Leading the league in yards and touchdown, efficiency at 112. And with the touchdown, was it 21-3? You said 40. Look, my Westfield on math
21 to
right. That's a
3,
7-1 ratio. 7-1 ratio. Yeah, he got
That's crazy
MOP right now. Canadian. Yeah. I'm gonna just knock off the Canadian and defensive player with one player. I'm going with Cameron Judge. Top Canadian and top defensive player in my eyes. He's up there in tackles, top 10. Tackles for a loss, he's up there top 5. He's contributed with sacks and interceptions. He has a pick 6 that we got to see front row at not Canadians, what is that? Princess Auto Stadium behind you there against the Bombers. The guy's just a defensive machine. So Cam Judge for Canadian and defensive player for me.
Wow, that's a good one. I went the easy route on Canadian. I went back to quarterback and went back to Nathan Rourke. Up and down season, but he's on pace for 4,600 yards. But I like your pick better. Sorry, bro. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I went Tyrese Beverett on defense. Guys had a couple sacks, interception, 2 forced fumbles so far this year. Has been a force inside that Montreal defense. But those stats you laid out for Cameron Judge. Pretty good.
He's having a good season. Shout out to Cameron Judge. Yeah, dang. Sure. CFL fans, who is your mid-season CFL MOP, Canadian, and Defensive Player of the Year? Don't worry, Bomber fans. We'll get to their halfway point grade, whatever special, when they hit the 9th game, which will be against Montreal. Correct? Oh no.
Yep. No,
Yes.
this
Yes.
one after Ottawa.
Yes,
Four
that's
and
right.
four right now, right?
That's right. So
Yeah.
next week we're doing the mid-season grading. Don't forget to hit that episode up. I'm gonna start writing.
Ooh, that could be interesting depending on what happens tomorrow.
Oh gosh. With news of the joint CFL NFL officiating programs, what grade are you giving CFL officials at the halfway point of the season? The less you hear about the officials, the better. And I've been hearing nothing about them all year so far. That's crazy. Like there are a couple things like that, whatever, blocking the back.
Blocking the back.
Yes, that's kind of like borderline, but a lot of these reviewed calls have been borderline. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a B plus. I can never give refs an A. You know me, and referees don't have a good relationship at all. So I'll give a B plus, and they should be thankful.
Yeah, I'm with you on that relationship. When I played soccer, most of my yellow cards were from arguing with the referee. They weren't actually for infractions on the field. They were just because I couldn't stop talking.
Of course.
Yeah, I agree. Like last year was a gong show, right? It was a gong show on the field. It was a gong show in the booth. The reviews, everything was going to shit. Like I would have gave him an F last year. I'll give him a B this year. And like you say, there hasn't been a lot of controversy. There hasn't been a lot of, oh, what the hell kind of call was that? Obviously, there is going to be some here and there in every game, but way better this year than last year. And hopefully, this joint officiating program makes things better for both leagues.
Yeah.
Because both leagues can end up being a shit show. And to me, the fact the NFL can even have a shit show of referees when you're a $1 billion organized league, like even over billions of dollars league, you should not have an officiating problem.
No, not at all. There's no way the CFL should be teaching anything to the NFL about officiating, but they are. They're exchanging ideas. That's a good thing.
That's funny.
Do you want to change your Grey Cup prediction? You can go.
Are you changing yours? Who did you pick again?
Yes. I am not convinced the Bombers have the horses to make it to the Grey Cup at home. Of course, I am biased. I'm optimistic that the Bombers will make it. I'll always believe that the chance that, unless there's a last nail in the coffin where they don't make the playoffs, I always will believe in my Bombers. But my brain is telling me that someone else is going to win the West and Hamilton is going to win the East. So I'm going to have to change it.
So you picked Hamilton, though, right?
Hamilton and Bombers. I said the Bombers are going to win again.
Right. Yeah.
So
who are you changing it to then?
I want to change it, but I don't know to who yet. But I think Saskatchewan and Hamilton will be in the Grey Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't trust Saskatchewan yet because we've seen them free fall. But so far this year, they're sticking on point. We'll see once Labor Day hits or after Labor Day even. I'm going to change mine as well. I mean, I picked Ottawa, and they could come around. Depending on what happens with the Bomber game, they could be in that driver's seat for that third playoff spot. And with Montreal hurting on QB, who knows? But I'm going to switch mine to Hamilton. I'll go with you on that one because they've looked good, and even in their loss to BC last week, they look good. I'm sticking with BC in the West. I think they're going to come on strong to finish out this season, which. I think if the Bombers are making the playoffs at this point, they have to cross over. Yeah. Kind of thing. And they don't do well on the east side of things. So I'm going to go BC Hamilton.
Man, something about what's going on in Saskatchewan and not hearing a lot from Corey Mace. I'm like, it's different there now. It's different. You used to hear a lot of things from Craig Dickinson. Corey Mace was all over the media last year, but it's quiet from that office. There's something different about Saskatchewan this year. Scary.
And not stupidity coming out from the players on the field either.
That's right.
Right? Not doing anything dumb. And of course, they'll go as far as Trevor Harris. As long as he stays healthy, they got a legit chance.
That's the thing. Sure. He's got to stay healthy, but they prepared for it. They went out and signed Jake Meyer, who is not Trevor Harris, but he's better than a lot of the backups in the league.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Whew, Saskatchewan, we're giving you a lot of props this episode. At least they
terrible.
Benny, do you have anything to say to our friends?
Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow. Have a good week. And go Bombers, go.
Go Bombers, go. Come on, you got to win this one. This is one of those games. I think this is perhaps the game where the Bombers get to show either they're in a process of building or they'll be indicted for the record that they have. A below 500 team.
The 2-6 last year, right? This is a game they kind of started to turn things around as well. You know, in that 9th game, getting that big win. Yeah. So, yeah, this is the time where you got to start stringing some wins together.
I'm going to sneak another one in there, a little bit of Winnipeg Jets talk. What do you think about this Kyle Connor being traded? Talk going on mostly on X/Twitter, but also in the mainstream media.
Why are we now trading Kyle Connor? I mean, the guy's a 40 to 50 goal scorer.
Yes.
80-ish points, right? 80 to 90 points.
Yes.
Yes, I get it. The guy all-around player is not what a lot of people want him to be. Not everyone needs to be that guy. He is a sniper. If we lose those goals, who's bringing them in? Are we banking on the younger guys? And even to trade, who are you trading them for? You have to get guys that are going to want to come here.
That's right.
Our guys going to want to stay here right now. You know, and Kyle Connor has said the right thing so far, that he wants to be in Winnipeg. He's played here. He signed a long-term deal to stay here this long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not on board with trading the guy, even with his flaws, man. Sometimes you need some of those guys. The cap's going up. You know, if you got to pay him $10 to $11 million, pay the guy.
Yeah. Trading Kyle Connor is a rebuild move. The Jets are in a window to win a Stanley Cup. I don't know who's talking about trading Kyle Connor, who these idiots are that are dependent on statistics or whatever, that they're going and thinking that this is a good idea to trade this guy, but y'all need to shut up. That's a horrible idea. That's a dumbass idea.
Yeah, you've just lost Nick Ehlers, so you've lost some goal scoring there.
That's right.
You know, and a lot of things are draft and develop team. Well, this is the guy you drafted, Kyle Connor. Started with the Moose, came up to the Jets. This is the type of guy that this organization is built for. Why do you want to get rid of him? Because he doesn't play defense well?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, not everyone's going to play defense well. What do you want to win games 1-0?
Exactly.
Who's scoring those goals? I don't know, man. Sometimes with this, the fan base and all that kind of stuff with this team, it's like you're not gonna. What do you want? I don't know. You're not finding perfect players everywhere. You know, I don't know.
Let's just say, like you said it before, some of these analytics people are stupid. They get on their thing and they go off on, hey, this is a good idea because the numbers say so. Shut your mouth. You're not considering how the locker room is built. You're not considering Kyle Connor's place in the Jets. You're not considering perhaps Kyle Connor wanting to win a championship in the next couple of years. Like, this analytics talk is stupid. And this is not the first time I've gone off on analytics. I'm not a fan of these guys or girls. I don't know who's doing them, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's not the end all and be all of something, right? You have to combine the two of them. You can look at analytics, you can look at play on the ice, you can look at goal scoring. All that stuff has to factor in, right? It's not just one or the other and saying, oh, this guy's not good at analytic stuff. Let's get rid of him.
Analytics is good for baseball and gambling.
Oh, now you're opening up a can of worms.
I'm not lying.
That's going to be interesting out there.
I'll put that on X soon. Benny, anything to say to our friends again? Just to remind them?
Keep listening. Keep listening.
In the meantime,
have a good one.
Say it. Yes. Bye. In the
all
meantime,
good. Have a good one.
Between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. That was the dirtiest ending ever. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.